The Fortescue Metals Group chairman Andrew Forrest has hit back at the Federal Treasurer's description of him as greedy and wildly irresponsible. For more, we're joined now by our political reporter Julie Doyle in Canberra. Julie, good morning. Andrew Forrest didn't waste any time in getting right back at Wayne Swan.
No, Michael, he didn't, and not surprising there, really. But this all started when Wayne Swan wrote that essay in the Monthly where he talked about three individuals, Gina Rinehart, Clive Palmer and Andrew Forrest, the chairman of the Fortescue Metals Group. And he talked about those individuals trying to use their wealth to shape public policy to suit their own interests and not those of the national interest. So that's how this all started, and Wayne Swan's repeated those comments publicly. But Andrew Forrest, speaking last night at a WA Chamber of Commerce dinner, hit back at the criticism. Now, he's still opposed to the mining tax and still considering the legal options over that one, but he had some things to say about the Treasurer. He said, "Oh, for a Treasurer who can add and subtract as easily as he can deceive the Australian worker," and a few other things as well. Let's hear from Andrew Forrest last night.
And that is a theme, of course, which our venerable Treasurer has continued, where we seem to be at war with each other, that if you happen to disagree with the Treasurer, then you're un-Australian, undemocratic, probably communist. But I always thought that that was the era of someone who actually didn't understand that you needed wealth to create wealth, that someone who accumulated or could organise capital was no less special, nor more than someone who could run or swim or write.
Andrew Forrest there. Now, Julie, the parliamentary session, a particularly brutal parliamentary session, wrapped up, thankfully for all concerned, late yesterday, but not without some final pieces of drama.
Yes, it did, Michael. It wrapped up in a very familiar tune, you'd have to say. A question time was suspended again. Tony Abbott moved his 50th suspension of standing orders motion. That's 50 since the last election. Now, the government calculated that that has cost 27 hours of lost question time by doing all those motions. And during that debate, Tony Abbott also made a reference to the Prime Minister and Anthony Albanese having targets on their heads. Now, he did later apologise for that and withdrew those comments. But one of the other things that happened yesterday of interest, now the government was supposed to table its poker machine changes yesterday, but it withdrew that from the notice paper because it still doesn't have the support of Andrew Wilkie, so there's going to be a delay there. Now, these are the reforms that the government drafted after it walked away from that original deal with Andrew Wilkie to introduce mandatory pre-commitment technology on poker machines. So it's a watered-down proposal, but they still need Andrew Wilkie's support to get this through the House of Representatives, and he's still not happy with some of the wording of that draft legislation. So it's been withdrawn at this point, it's been delayed, and the government is going to keep working with Andrew Wilkie and hopes to introduce it in the next session. Now, all the politicians will be back now. We've got quite a break. They're not back in Canberra until May the 8th, which is the day of the federal budget.
Enjoy the downtime. Julie Doyle, thank you.
Thank you.